Hi guys, welcome to the podcast. This is the Sleepover with Ben and Jodie. Ben?
Jodie. Jodie, it's good to have you back. We missed you last week.
Yes, I was fighting crime.
We got a few callers and requests in, so that was quite nice. And we played some songs.
We sure did.
How do you think the Jodie facts went?
They were quite accurate.
Yep.
Yeah, most of them.
Which is great, because this is all a learning experience, and, you know, obviously the listeners are learning along with us.
Yes.
Thanks for downloading and listening to this podcast. Should we just crack on with it, do you reckon?
Take it away.
Take it away, guys.
Sleepover. 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 Sleepover.
It's fantastic.
Sleepover.
Really, really quite good.
Sleepover.
I listen to it in my pyjamas.
Sleepover.
Because I'm normally, asleep. We were discussing first world problems the other day. I thought this could be like a regular part of the show where we dissect first world... If people aren't familiar with first world problems, we complain about things from day to day, don't we? That really pale in insignificance, really, to the greater problems in the world. But then at the time, they seem pretty important. That's a first world problem. Here's a first world problem for you, Jodie. My kettle takes ages to boil. That is a first world problem. You buy a cheap kettle and it takes too long to boil.
Okay.
Do you find that?
I don't drink coffee, but...
Yeah, you're not really one for the hot beverages.
Sympathise.
I don't know how you survive. There's nothing
I really
worse
don't care.
than a kettle which takes too long to boil, Jodie. What do you do with yourself? You just sort of wander around the kitchen,
maybe
play with the fridge magnets.
wash your hands.
That's one thing that, that I would advise people is if you've got a bit of extra, dollars, don't buy a cheap kettle. Buy a slightly more expensive one, and then your water will boil quicker. First world problem solved. Have you got another one there, Jodie?
Wow. I tried to spread cold butter on my toast, and the bread ripped. That has happened to me.
Yeah, that's horrendous.
That has happened to me.
Have you got a tip for a way around that one, Jodie?
Maybe just eat it as soon as it happens, and then you don't have to think about how your bread's ripped.
There's nothing worse than ripped bread.
Just be done with it. Down it.
Keep the butter out. Keep it in a little dish. Do you remember that? I don't know whether people still do that. You buy a butter dish and you have a little lid on it, and then you leave your butter out, and then it's nice and soft, so that when you do want to spread it on your bread, it doesn't rip the bread. We're going to be settling these first world problems throughout the show.
These are the real issues.
Yeah, they really are.
102.1 megahertz of free radio.
I should do a shout out here to Denis Semchenko, who I'm friends with on Facebook, and he sort of plasters his Facebook wall with all sorts of fantastic links to funny news stories and little funny blogs and little websites like this one, which is called Radio Fail. Have you heard of Radio Fail?
I think we're living it right now.
It's basically, yes, like our show is sort of a 4-hour version of this website. No, our show's not that bad. But basically it's just mistakes, I guess, that people make in professional circumstances. I mean, this is a nice community radio station here, and we work pretty hard on this show. We're not the slickest DJs in the world, but, we mean well. But it's great to hear this, because this is obviously professional. A lot of these clips actually come from quite professional outlets of the BBC.
Okay.
It's good to see that even those guys occasionally make the odd complete calamity and complete mistake.
They're only human.
There's all sorts of stuff on this website, Radio Fail. I wasted about an hour just clicking through all the clips. It's hilarious. It's really great. So I've picked out a couple of them. This is when a vox pop goes slightly wrong, I think is what you can say. This is from Capital FM in the UK.
From Capital FM, basically this station has been named one of the top 10 worst stations in Britain.
Worst stations, yeah?
What do you think?
It's alright. It's good to listen to in the morning sometimes, but it plays too many adverts, I think.
No, not Capital FM, talk about the train station.
Oh, right. That's quite embarrassing.
So that's from Capital FM. She was saying that this has been voted the worst train station, and he's there answered the question thinking that she said the worst station, the worst radio station. I thought this would be a good thing for us to play and listen. So obviously, we're relatively new to this radio game, but this sort of shows that, professionals can get it wrong as well. This one's quite funny, and this occasionally happens. This is an easy mistake to make, where you just sort of talk and talk and talk, and you turn your brain off. I do that half the time. It's blimmin' 3:15 in the morning, So occasionally when you turn your brain off, and then you just end up sort of saying something that you might occasionally regret.
They say a dog will cause around 2,000 family arguments in its lifetime. They reckon if you have a dog, it causes 3 rows a week between partners. Is that true or untrue?
I think it entirely depends upon one fact, and that is, are you both dog lovers? If you're both dog lovers, like my husband and I are both, dog bonkers. So in which case, I'm completely going to rephrase that. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I knew that was wrong. That's possibly the worst thing in 15 years I have ever said on the radio.
Just wallow in the glory of it.
What I meant to say was bonkers about dogs.
What's the argument about? Who's the dog's best friend?
I'm not saying anything else.
There we go. So, it's easy mistake to make that. So that's Radio Fail. Go and check it out. There's just loads of little clips like that. And I think most of them from the UK and from respectable journalists of the BBC. And that makes it even funnier then when they obviously completely cock it up. Dog bonkers. There we go.
Let's have a little intermission. And dance. Check it. Nice. This is Ben and Jodie, coming straight to you into your ear holes. Nice. For ZZZ, the sleepover.
Jodie, obviously, because people don't really know us that well, so I thought, if I just sort of enlighten the listeners with a few just sort of basic facts that they need to know, about us. Jodie, as a lot of people probably know this, was once touted to play professional basketball with the LA Lakers. Due to your height.
Yes, well, most people know that.
Most people know that because Jodie is over 8 feet tall. Jodie once created her own language by learning French and then by spelling each French word backwards. So when she would host her own parties, she'd have great fun yelling out the cryptic words at her guests. That's a fact there for our listeners. More Jodie facts. Jodie's nicknames include JG, J to the Grinspoon, Spoony JJ, J to the JJ, Hustling Grinster, the J Daddy, Jode's Toads, and Mrs. Andrews, although no one's quite sure where that last one comes from.
I don't know either.
Jodie's singing voice is so good that travelling bird life often confuse it for birdsong and spontaneously start mating. So, 4ZZZ, of course, the sleepover with Ben and Jodie. Emiliana Turini. Here's a first world problem here. All my best tweets jokes come to me at the only hours of the day when I know no one is paying attention. What do you do?
Wow.
It's 102.1 FM. It's also live and online, although your mum just called us and said she was having trouble getting online. Is that just a mum thing, though? Because I know if I have to explain that, like anything internet's related to my mum, it takes me a good half of the day. You've got to, sort of set aside a weekend to explain those things.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Was she pretty savvy with all that?
My mum's a cool mum.
That's cool.
She's up with all the tweets and the Facebook, always commenting on...
Yeah, you say your dad's always on the old Facebook as well?
Yeah.
Good on you.
They're right across it.
First world problems. When I use a MacBook, I keep forgetting there's no right-click option like on a PC. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it doesn't...
I do that with your MacBook. I'm always right-clicking on that thing, and I'm like, why isn't it working?
Well, there is no right button.
There's no right button there on the Apple Macs. But then if you're a PC user, then... I'm sure they can identify with that problem right there.
You are listening
to the Sleepover.
Listen to this. A German pensioner who had kept a tub of lard in his cupboard for 64 years took it to authorities. Why would you do that? They pronounced it very much fit for consumption, if a little tasteless. I think they serve a similar thing in our canteen.
Oh, snap. What the
64
hell?
years. Yeah,
I don't
hey.
understand why someone would do that. So he took it to the authorities to see if he could still eat it.
I guess so, yeah. I mean,
use
this is a
it.
bizarre sort of thing to do, I guess.
I actually have a sick feeling in my stomach.
Retired chemist Hans Feldmeier, 87, said he had received the pig fat as a student in 1948 as part of the post-war US aid program. Maybe he just collects these things.
Well, maybe he was worried that you wouldn't be able to get it anymore.
It says, yeah, maybe that was it.
If they told me that they were going to stop making olives, I would probably keep a jar.
You reckon if they said
I'd probably stock it
so
up.
olives are now a scarce commodity, you'd stock
Or
up on there?
cheese, but that would probably
Yeah, but an olive
go
ain't
off.
gonna. Do you reckon they'd have to be kept in some freeze-packed container or something to last
That's
for
all right.
64 years?
That's okay.
Would you still eat them after
It would be
64
worth
years?
it. Yes.
Yes, yes.
You're listening to Brisbane Community Radio, 4ZZZ, 102.1 FM.
Brazilian police, Brazilian. Let's try and talk. We'll try and speak English now. Brazilian police have arrested a man for forgery when he tried to open a bank account using an identification document with a photo of actor Jack Nicholson.
Okay, I did hear about this.
He's tried to open a bank account and it's got a picture of Jack Nicholson's face on the identification.
Did he look anything like Jack?
That's interesting. This is from a story on news.com, but news.com.au, and they had the picture of Jack Nicholson that he used, but they didn't have his picture. Maybe, well then, yeah, maybe there's a point there. Maybe he does look a bit like Jack Nicholson, but I mean, if you're going to go and forge someone's identity, probably don't use a really famous actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although Jack is a bit of a silver fox.
He is, isn't he? What a great actor. Does he do anything anymore? He's just sort of lounges around, doesn't he?
I think he's taken on the rom-coms.
Yeah, he's tackling the rom-coms.
He's been in a few of my mum's movies, like...
Your mum's movies?
Yeah,
movies that your mum
movies
likes.
that my mum
Not
watches
that
in
she
her
makes.
free time.
Because your mum is the famous famous film director, isn't she, in Hollywood?
She's featuring quite heavily in this
Yeah,
show.
she directed loads of great movies starring Jack Nicholson. No, isn't that funny? What an idiot.
The sound of 4ZZZ.
Well, that was super. I listened to all of it. Thought it was
Did you?
great. Yes. Yep.
That's commitment.
Thank you very much for downloading and listening to this podcast.
We appreciate you.
Yes, we love you very much. We think you're great.
Yes.
So we have worked out a way of putting this online on the actual official 4ZZZ website, which is good. So you may be streaming it live from there. Or you might be on our Podbean site. I don't know what we're going to do with that yet. So
Baby little Podbean.
we lay one of those every week on the Podbean site, but we might just host them now from the 4ZZZ website. We don't really know. Yes, so anyway, thanks for listening, guys. That's great. We're going to do the same sort of nonsense next week.
Take it easy, hey?
Have a good week, guys. Take care, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
4ZZZ FM.